Hello and welcome to the Kayden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. And joining me right here today is Wayne Gillespie. Wayne, how are ya?
I'm great, Kayden. Great to be on your show. 7 o'clock in the morning here, so just waking up.
There you go, there you go. Are you a big morning person or?
I'm not a big morning person. No, I'm not a big morning person, but you get used to it.
Mhm.
I have to do it as a few times when I've been talking to people in America. Yeah, it's only time to really do it properly. Yeah.
It is definitely hard because the time zones are all like super crazy and it's like, my goodness.
Oh, that's right, and
Mhm.
because yeah, it's the 18th here, 17th of August there, so
Mhm.
yeah, it can easily get confused. Anyway, no, I've got a cup of tea, and I'm going all right for 7 o'clock.
There you go, there you go. So why don't you start by telling everyone a little bit about you and how you got started in music?
Oh wow, okay, that's a big question. How did I get started? I've always been obsessed, I guess, with music. My father was a jazz piano player, and we've had music around the house when I was little. I seem to get really obsessed with songwriters. So back in the day, you had vinyl singles. It'd
Mhm.
always be the name of the writers in brackets underneath the song. I was always obsessed with that. And then I heard, for me, it was Leonard Cohen. I heard Leonard Cohen on I think it was a folk show in New Zealand, where I'm from, and just spoke to me. I just thought I can do that, poetry and music together. And I just started songwriting about the age of 14 and made an independent album when I was in my 20s, which got to the final of the New Zealand Music Awards. Then I got signed to CBS Records in New Zealand for a couple of albums. Now I'm back doing stuff independently.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I've just always been in love with music. And then my father bought me a guitar actually because I was asking him to
Mhm.
transpose my songs and he was getting sick of it on the piano. And so he just bought me a guitar and said, you need to learn your own instrument. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. If you could do a duet or collaboration with any singer, who would you choose and why, Wayne?
Oh, that's a great question. Unfortunately, a lot of those people are now dead, but probably for me, Leonard Cohen would definitely be very high on the list. And Joni Mitchell, who's still alive.
Hmm.
That would be pretty incredible. So because that's the generation that I looked up to as well, I guess. Um, uh, yeah, yeah. I'll leave it there. I'm a bit of a mind blank with artists, those kind of artists.
There you go. So, do you have any upcoming projects or singles that you want to tell us a little bit about?
Yeah, well, we're actually doing the name of the album is called Fraz, and that's because it's sort of a bit of a amalgamation of
Hmm.
folk and rock and jazz, and I think you've played a couple of tunes off it. Have you?
Hmm.
Bananas, maybe, which is kind of a bit in
Yeah.
between all those
Uh huh.
styles. Um, so we're doing a live show next weekend, actually. So at the moment we're rehearsing. Actually, can't. There's a whole lot of drums and guitars in the
Hmm.
background here. You can't see it because it's blurred a bit, but
Hmm.
that's our main thing, the album launch. Um, and the single, I think Bananas is the one that kind of a lot of people are playing, not strictly country in terms of
Hmm.
your show, but you've got a pretty eclectic mix of music on there. Probably other singles have been Brick by Brick, which is kind of a bit more rockier, and Papa Wemba, which has got a bit of an African feel
Hmm.
to it. So yeah, there's all different styles on that album.
Fantastic. Do you have any advice to those who might want to start singing or performing but doesn't really know how to get their foot in the door, Wayne?
I think it's been really hard in COVID times. How I got
Hmm.
started was just going and playing open mics and things like that. So
Hmm.
that's all been shut down. I'm sure it has been difficult over there as well.
Hmm.
but things are opening up now. So I first of all suggest you practice in your bedroom. You find some
There
other
you go.
songwriters or other people that can give you support. That was really valuable for me. I went to a few songwriter workshops and met other people that were also writing songs. We'd gather together at each other's houses and swap
Hmm.
songs. That really great for confidence. And then when we were confident, we went as a group to open mic. So we sort of had a little bit of support, a few friendly faces in the crowd. These days, because a lot of online streaming and ability to record at
Right.
home, obviously there's getting familiar with ability to
Hmm.
record yourself and so forth, get your songs out that way. There's quite a lot of different ways now, I think, of getting music out there.
Oh,
Uh,
for sure. With this technology that we have nowadays, it's really crazy to even think about. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. So from someone, from my generation before that was all around, yeah, it's
Hmm.
just mind-boggling the amount of ways that you can get music out there, that different ways of recording it. You don't have to have your own, studio paying,
Hmm.
$100 an hour and all that and that. But those open mics and performing in friendly environments, country clubs, I imagine, not so huge here, but I imagine there's opportunities that in places like that as well over there.
Certainly, plenty of places here in the States to play.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that'd be my advice. First of all, you give it a go. Don't think
Hmm.
about it. Don't talk about it, but just start playing in your bedroom. Find some people that you can relate to, that support you,
Hmm.
and then yeah, off you go. It takes time as well. Be patient.
Hmm. It definitely does, and having that support by friends, family, coworkers, and other musicians is great too.
Yeah, yeah. There's only a certain number of people that are obsessed with music
Right.
as you are, So
Yeah.
finding your tribe like that, I think, is really important through, yeah, other people that have the same
Yeah.
obsession that you've got. Yeah.
And I tell people all the time too, you wouldn't believe on how many independent musicians are out there that we've never even heard of before.
It's staggering, isn't it? And
Hmm.
I'm listening a lot more now to
Yeah.
independent stations and community stations, like yours. And I'm just amazed how good the quality of independent music is out there. And as you say, you've never heard of these
Hmm.
people, but you go, wow, there's some great music out there.
Yeah, and that's the
You,
nice thing about these stations for sure.
yeah, I imagine you get a lot of submissions
Hmm.
and
Oh, yes, I do.
but that's a fantastic thing also for people, young,
Hmm.
people starting out, that they can send stuff to stations and get some feedback or get some play sometimes. Yeah.
And that's really fun about my job too. I get to listen to all these different music that I would have probably never have heard otherwise. So
Yeah, well, that's a dedication as
it
well, isn't it?
is. Oh, it
You've got a
is.
lot of stuff you got to listen to.
It is. Yeah, for sure, for sure. And most of the time, they're usually top notch. There's been a few times where it didn't fit my category, like people have sent me like metal music, and I'm like, okay, this is not gonna fit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But pretty much everything else has been, pretty good. So.
yeah, fantastic. And you play a lot of the major artists
Mhm.
as well
I
in
do,
amongst the
yes.
mix too. So yeah, it's
It's a
good to
good
be in a
mix.
and alongside, Kenny
Yeah.
Rogers and those sort
Hmm.
of people who I actually met once.
Oh, really?
He's a mad tennis player, and I was played tennis with him for a day many years ago when he was touring with Donny Parton. So I just heard him on your show, I think, when you were playing My Star.
Hmm. That's funny. So, where do you see you in your music in the next couple of years? Where do you want to be, Wayne?
Well, for me, I've had a long break. So this is
Hmm.
my sixth album. My
Okay.
fifth one came out 17 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
essentially,
Long break there.
I took time out to raise a family, and
Hmm.
I've had another career because
Hmm.
I wasn't quite making enough money for music to survive on. So now
Mm-hmm.
I'm back again, and I'm just really looking forward to playing live,
Mm-hmm.
speaking to radio like yourself, making more albums. I've got another
Mm-hmm.
2 albums in my mind that
Mm-hmm.
I'm wanting to do. One's going to be a more acoustic country
Mm-hmm.
type
There you go.
one, and then because that's the kind of the one area that I'm really keen to kind of get a bit of pedal steel or something like that in on some of my songs, and then a follow up to this album too, which is a bit more eclectic, rock and jazz, folk, all mixed up together, blues,
Mm-hmm.
country. It's all thrown together, more rocky.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've got really hopefully just to keep recording now because it's a lot easier doing it at home and so forth. So that's the plan. Just keep putting out albums and hopefully playing a bit. Love to get to the States and Canada if that was possible and do a festival or something like that.
That'd be really cool. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah. So it's just getting back into it after a long break and
Mm-hmm.
exercising the vocal cords and the songwriting again.
There you go. So, Wayne, do you have a message to those who might be watching, listening, or even any of your fans?
Well, I just say keep on listening to music and keep on playing music because um, music's really healthy as well. My father
Mm-hmm.
played. He was 91 and he was playing right up to the virtually the day he died. And I think there's a lot of really positive health effects from playing music as
Mm-hmm.
well. It stimulates the brain. It keeps your
Yeah. Yeah.
hands nimble. I say never lose your love for music. Never stop listening. Never stop playing.
Where can people find you on social media if they want to follow you?
Yeah. So I've got a website which is famous blue raincoat fbr.com, or if they just Google my name, they should find the website. Facebook's Wayne Gillespie and Famous Blue Raincoat. There's a Facebook site there. There's Twitter, Wayne Gillespie Music, Instagram, Wayne Gillespie Music, and YouTube channel, Wayward Music. There's a lot of clips and live clips and um, clips off albums on that YouTube site. So yeah, there's lots of ways you can find the music.
Is there anything else that I forgot that you would like to share with us today, Wayne?
Wow. No, I think not really. You kind of asked some great questions there and got me thinking. I'm just trying to think of artists to collaborate with. You stumped me with that one because most of them are pretty
There's so
old now.
many. There's so many.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I still can't think of it apart from the ones I've mentioned. Any that Neil Young,
Hmm.
uh, some of those Canadian artists. But no, I think you've covered it. Unless you've got any other questions that popped into your head.
Actually, I do have another one for you. Since we got
Yeah,
time, why not? So,
yeah.
if someone was to write a song about you or something that has occurred in your life, what do you think that they'd write about?
Wow, that's a great question. What would they write about me? Gee, it's really hard to imagine what other people would write about me. I write about myself,
Hmm.
so I guess. um, yeah, what would they write about me? Look, I would hope they'd kind of write a write a song that kind of had a few, poetic
Hmm.
poetic lyrics to it that with a little bit of a quirky edge and a bit of
Oh, there
humor,
you go.
um, and a nice kind of hooky chorus that people couldn't get out of their heads.
Wayne, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the Kane Gordon Show today's Best Country Mix. We really do appreciate your time so much.
And thank you so much for playing our music on your show, Kayden. It's fantastic to be part of your mix, country mix. Fantastic. And yeah, look forward to listening to more of your show, which I can do. You can do that anywhere in the world. That's amazing.